almost completely dry. I love it. Absolutely love it. Up to do. Alright, a lot of cleaning up to do. Relax, they're wood chips. They're wood chips. I have to do a little bit of cleaning up. I'm going to need simple green. Okay. Well, that was enough setup. I spared you the rest of it because, frankly, I'm exhausted. You might notice we're using a slightly different camera today. We're having some mic issues. I paid good, well, somebody paid good money for decent mics, and this is why we're not using them. Cell phone interference. That clicking and popping you hear when you put it near a speaker. And, I haven't been able to successfully test the theory as to that being the issue. So, I don't know if it is for sure, and I don't want to chance it. So we dug out the Sony, and we're just using the mic on board. So I'm trying to speak up a little bit so you can hear me. Anywho, I'm cutting some, we're going to cut the ends off here. I'm cutting some leeks up. My wife wants a meal prep done for breakfast in the morning, so she's not constantly spending money. And while we're cooking this, I'm actually going to smoke her final product in the smoker to give it a little extra flavor. Eggs are fantastic when they're smoked. So I'm going to cut up some bits, like so. My cutting technique is not the greatest, don't criticize me. We wanted onions, but the only thing they had for onions was bowling ball onions, like these huge, literally bigger than a softball. And I thought to myself, no, we're gonna just, no, that's the problem with this table, everything slides all over it. We're gonna dice these up. This is going to add a little bit of flavor and color to her casserole, which will be nice. So, for those wondering what's going on, I still am not ready to make my big announcement. But, you're going to want to follow this channel because we're joining other people on their adventure. And where I'm disabled, I got to have something to do with my spare time. I can't sit at home and just collect a check and watch TV all day. So I'm kind of diving headfirst into something in order to occupy my time, maybe grow closer to God a little bit, or a whole bunch. So there's these. Wonderful, look at that. And yes, I did wash my hands. Got a little bit of color. We don't want to go too nuts with these because they do have a potent punch and they could overpower the dish. So just about that much should be enough for us. Now for a little bit of pepper. We got these because the other ones were wilted. Trying to decide how I should do this. I think I'm going to get a smaller one. She's inside cooking sausage in a frying pan. I'm going to start with these. Very simple, going to cut. 1, 2, off. Same thing here. Off. Magnificent. This is a Farberware knife. I have my chef's knife, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So first thing we're going to do is going to move this out of the way. It's garbage, so I'm just going to put it there. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut these up. This may not be the best way to do this, but I am pressed for time. And because my last video I shot out here didn't come out because of the cell phone interference, yeah, that's just right. Cut just like that. Anyway, because of the cell phone interference last time, I am opting to not, or I'm going to tell you everything I told you last time about this Royal Gourmet electrical smoker, which is actually pretty portable considering everything. So I'm going to chop that end off. Then we're just going to cut into rings, like so. And then we're going to cut crosswise across the rings, see if we have enough peppers. The idea is to give her a balanced breakfast with her egg casserole with a whole lot of flavor and everything. So I want color. We got color. Look at those. Those are gorgeous. Look at that red and that orange. Absolutely fantastic. We're going to need another one. So I like the red and the orange together, so let's go with two more smallish peppers. By the way, these are I don't have another small red one. I got a lot of orange and not a whole lot of red, so this will probably be it, I think. So top off, dispose, top off again, dispose, and then now for those that are wondering, yes, I am curling my knuckles so that the blade comes up against my knuckles and acts as a guide, and my fingers are not in a position where they will get chopped off. This is a hard technique to learn. It's even harder to learn it at a fast pace. This time we're just going to dice. I think dicing works a little faster. Oh boy, Uncle Roger would hate my cutting technique. We're going to chop them up real nice, and we're going to make them just so. I want lots of color. That red and that orange are going to pop. She also is adding sausage, and as I said before, I added leeks, but that's mostly for flavor, less for color. It'll give the egg casserole a little bit of a flavor profile that's going to make her feel satisfied in the morning. I really need a new table, y'all. There we go. Orange done. I could probably use my chef knife for this, but less dishes is less dishes when you're cooking outdoors, because remember, when you're outside, anything you're washing is going to be hand washed. Boom, there we go. We got peppers. Look at the color. I'll show this to you. It's really a nice color, a really nice medley of colors, honestly. Here you go, look at that. I mean, that's just really just an absolutely gorgeous. And just mix them up. I'm going to bring them into her and she's going to add it in with her egg mix. Look at that. Look at the color in that. Beautiful, beautiful color. And that's going to spread out nicely throughout her dish, I think. Now, I've cooked a few things in this smoker, and ultimately I like the results. But one of the things I don't like is this. This is where you put your wood chips. And no matter what the people in India at tech support, because that's who you get if you call the 800 number, say, this is not big enough. It's not nearly big enough. So, I'm going to start with a basic coating you have to do this because this thing does not get hot enough to start and keep these chips going. This seems nuts to me, but I also feel like there's not much of a choice. So, light coating. I don't want to go too crazy because this is highly volatile, but you cannot light these any other way. So you light them. You gotta let them catch on fire. And then you're basically gonna smolder the fire with this because you only want them smoking. So you're gonna burn these until you smell the lighter fluid smell go away. And believe me, you will. It burns off really fast. But you also want to get these to where they're smoking pretty good. And then you don't want to blow out the fire because that's really not going to work. You just want to smolder it. You're going to use the lid to smolder it. This is the only way to get your wood chips to start smoking. Some people try to start them other ways. This is just easier. Keep a bottle of lighter fluid around and have at it. Now I'm starting to get charred chips. I'm going to see if the flame dies off on its own before I do my thing here. See? So, out. Boom. Now you should see it's going to be a little bit hot, which I should have planned for, but you see the smoking, and we're going to get it in the smoker. Okay, so there it is, pre-cooked. We are entirely smoking this. I'm out of breath, sorry. We're entirely smoking this, or we're smoking this entirely in the Royal Gourmet Smoker, which lost all of its temperature. Long story. This is in a couple of weeks it'll all make sense. It's God willing. So I'm just waiting. What? I've had this hair on me. Oh, here it is. And it's been like, it feels like a spider web. Damn it. Anyway, that's the casserole. Smoker's almost up to temperature. I'm going to even this out a little bit because everything slopes. I prefer cooking outside. Oh, lovely. Let's have some wind noise. Hold on. Swear to God. Okay, look. I'll get to this in a minute. So I'm going to check the temperature here. We're almost at 200. And we're smoking. We're smoking. Good news. So, want to let that warm up a little bit and get ready to pop this in. It's probably got to go in for about an hour. And in that time, we're going to have to keep feeding chips in. And I'm also going to have to add water to this tray because I don't want the eggs to dry out. Fortunately, my water bottle got depleted, so I'm going to have to go fill this up at the sink. Normally, this does much more than serve as a grease trap. And unless I'm doing pork, I don't really feel the need to use it. I've seen, there's plenty of videos showing that you don't need to use this with the Royal Gourmet Smoker. And because of the way they've built this thing, there is a grease trap, but it doesn't get used because about 90% of your grease gets caught in this, which sits over where the drippings are supposed to go. And they never make it to the grease trap. They just end up sitting in here, leaving a big sloppy mess for you to clean up later. Calling tech support, all they would say is that it's operating within expected parameters. What kind of bullshit answer is that? Obviously, your design team didn't get this right. All right? Anytime somebody has to come up with a hack for your product, you did it wrong. It's that simple, okay? You can BS the rest of the internet, but an autistic guy who's got a specialty in pattern recognition, and I mean way up there, no. So we're gonna check the temperature. 200 degrees is almost there. I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this in. This literally goes over here. And now we're gonna put the egg mixture right about here. We're gonna close it, we're gonna lock it, and we're not gonna open it again. Whoa, I don't want to drip that everywhere. Thankfully it evaporates quickly. And I probably shouldn't have that close to the smoker. All mistakes will not be edited out. Anyway, you're gonna have to reload the chips as they ash out. Don't empty it. Just put the chips on top of the ash chips, and then at the end of your cooking session, dump all of them. While they're still hot, preferably in some dry leaves. No. Make sure they're out and cold. I speak from experience when I tell you, it's not just enough to think they're cold. Plunge your hand right into the ashes. No, don't do that either. Don't plunge your hand into ashes. But do make sure they're cold before you dump them. The chips that I dumped earlier, it's been a few weeks. We've had weather upon weather upon weather. I mean, it's been stupid. So, the current temperature is 150 because I opened the door for 10 seconds, and that means all the heat escapes. But, about an hour, you're going to check the consistency of the egg. It's an egg casserole, and we're smoking it. So, what you're going to want to do is plunge like a toothpick into it, like you do with baked goods. See that it comes out clean. Comes out clean, the trap is clean. You know, like they say on Ghostbusters. So now it's just a waiting game. And now we'll get into the next part of our segment. What do I think of this thing? So Walmart had the Master Built smoker, and it was $129. And I never jumped on the opportunity because money is always an issue. In fact, I'll let you on a little secret. For the last, let's see, I'm 49. 40 years of my life, money has been an issue in my life. Not growing up, my parents had plenty of money, but unfortunately, all of the academic skills and brain power went to my sister. She makes 6 figures a year working for a bio research company or something. I don't even know what she does. I think she's a mad scientist. But me, I'm a street smarts guy. I'm just monitoring temperature here. It's still climbing. And I've always been embarrassingly shy of having the right equipment to do the things that I want to do. And because I'm autistic, and nobody knew I was autistic, they just thought I was a lazy, listless underperformer who didn't try hard enough. I now know that that was an unfair label to give me, and it wasn't true at all. So now I'm trying to compensate for that, and I'm disabled. I've got sciatica, I've got a bad hip, I've got too many, and the autism. Yeah, since I was 15 years old, I've had well over 100 jobs because my average lifespan at a job is 1 to 3 years, and after that, I'm pretty much buried in a corner somewhere because everybody thinks I'm too weird. Really don't care anymore. The embarrassing part is that people will tell you to keep running the same play, even though in every other area of life, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's considered insanity. But when it comes to employment, just chew on a piece of rawhide or something. Well, I recently rejected that notion, partially because I'm not physically able to do 8 to 9 hours on my feet on a hard stone floor, which is, according to society, all I'm qualified to do. So I started going to school to become a mechanic. I'm working on doing a little bit of work on the side, nothing too crazy, maybe some automotive restorations, that sort of thing. I think people envision me working for a garage, which is insanity back at work again. I mean, I'd be basically going back into a neurotypical world and rejected by all of the other shop people. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to need extra money on the side, and I want out of retail. That's the long and the short of it. Anyway, every year that Master Built would pop up for like 4 years, and every year I won't make a purchase without my wife's blessing. We have to come to an agreement on things, and I feel bad if I make a decision and I don't include her on it. Now, most of the time, on the rare occasion that I do that, she's fine, but I feel like I've left her out. So it's not her, whoosh, it's me overthinking, possibly, I don't know. But this year, I had a panic attack on Christmas Day. I wound up in the ER with blood pressure of 177 over 103. I don't want anybody telling me there's nothing wrong with me anymore. That is 40 years of stress and anxiety coming to fruition, and it's all related to autism. And frankly, I don't want to hear anybody's counterpoints if you haven't bothered to watch a couple of videos and educate yourself on what that all means and how we get burned out and the whole bit. Okay? It's just not worth my time, and I don't want to have the discussion anymore. I also don't like to debate people who don't understand how to communicate with somebody with autism. You know, continuously trying to address somebody that has autism in your family by neurotypical rules is really just bad news bears. So I don't like it. So back to this. This year, she decided that I've had enough stress in my life. She felt bad. She was worried about me. She bought me the Royal Gourmet. And it actually is a really nice smoker. But there are some fundamental design flaws. And when you call the number, they give you a packet inside the box when you put this thing together that says, need help? Call this number. But you get Bangladesh or someplace, and the people on the other line are reading from a script. You want to piss me off? Have your people at a support center reading from a script. In fact, you want to piss most consumers off, do that. Companies have not figured this out yet. So I got somebody with broken English trying to pass themselves off as Nicole. Well, I'm sorry, but I know this wasn't Nicole. There were a few consonants missing. I wouldn't have a problem talking to another country if they were actually knowledgeable in the product and weren't just working from a script, and if it went off script, didn't know how to help. They were less than helpful. They passed me on to a manager, which is a bullcrap term. It was just another call center worker. I know because I worked a call center. And this person said, having reviewed your complaints, which I will get to, we have determined that it's operating within expected functionality. Well, why didn't you just say, hey, butthead, go outside and play a nice rousing game of hide and go F yourself. That would have been a little bit more to the point and wouldn't have wasted 20 minutes of my time. So, tech support for Royal Gourmet, 0 stars, sucks. Don't bother calling the 800 number. Instead, YouTube videos, forget about the warranty. I'm telling you right now, because you're gonna have to make mods to this thing if you want it to work as expected out of the box. And that means you're gonna maybe wanna add extra ventilation. You're going to have to use lighter fluid to start the chips in advance just to get them smoking. They will stay smoking once they're in the smoker, but before then, forget it. You're not lighting them, it's not happening, they're not gonna start on their own. That's just the way it is. The drip tray, which I showed you, not the drip tray, the water tray that is supposed to add moisture, which is necessary for this dish because it's egg-based, acts more as a grease catcher. Remember, expected realm of function. Bullcrap. It's catching 90% of the grease drippings. And they just sit there. And then, you know, after it cools down, if you don't empty it right away, you've got mung. Just mung. And I don't like mung. So, I made some workarounds. And basically, lighter fluid for your first batch of chips. You might need to use a little bit for your second batch, and you want to burn it completely off. You want to not be smelling that pungent aroma of lighter fluid before you stick it back, or your food is going to smell like a charcoal starter. But it is necessary. For shorter burn times, they say once an hour. I'm only doing a 1 hour dish here, so I'm not expecting to have to do much of anything. try to space out checking things, because every time you open that door, the temperature is going to drop 15 degrees like that. And it's going to take a bit, which I've got it on full power right now, and it's still only hovering around 200. It's 50 degrees outside. As you can tell, it's very breezy, and this is just the nature of these things. However, it does maintain steady temperature better than a bullet smoker, which, by the way, are near impossible to keep at 200 degrees, never mind the 400 or the 350 that the analog gauge on a bullet smoker says. Those are very hard to use, and charcoal is very hard to micromanage when you're doing a long smoke. This is ideal if you're doing something like turkey, and you've got all day to just periodically refill the water and this and that. So for an egg dish, we're not worried about this. So overall, the smoker is great, but you're going to have to hack it. You're going to have to hack it to get it to work the way you want. And do not call the 800 number. It is a total headache. So, as far as the smoker goes, and for my first electric smoker, I'd give it 3.5 stars. They need to pretend that there aren't design flaws that they just aren't going to address. They need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed like right away, because for some people it's going to be a deal breaker. So that's my review of the Royal Gourmet Smoker. Not a sponsor, and frankly, if they were, I still wouldn't curb my review. They need to make some adjustments. So I did want to talk a little bit about why you should pay attention to this channel and everything that's going on. And it has a lot to do with my panic attack, my autism, my chronic pain conditions. I have a court case in about 2 weeks for an appeal because I've been rejected twice by the state, who, by the way, never met with me. One time they sent me to a doctor who should be retired. I'm going to name him because I dox people and I don't care. John Constantine is a doctor in Greenfield, and his information on the ASD spectrum is non-existent. And it is my suspicion that the state sent me to him intentionally for that reason. Autism is a huge caveat once proven for disability. And he basically pushed my case back an entire year with his evaluation. I didn't feel he was empathetic. I didn't feel like he really cared about me as a person or what I needed, but that he was maybe on the dole for the state to reject as many people or debunk as many people as possible. In fact, I think that's the way a lot of disability is handled. And it played a huge role. Since then, I have been actually diagnosed as ASD level 1, that's autism spectrum disorder, level 1, requiring significant accommodation, which means you can't just throw me in a neurotypical world and expect me to function. I still have people arguing with the diagnosis. I know there's people in my family that think it's probably a crap diagnosis and they're just telling me what I want to hear. That's just my suspicion. That hasn't been said. It's just, you know, the way my life has gone, what else would it be? And I decided after my panic attack that I was not living the back 9, as it were, of my life the same way I lived the front 9. Because in the front 9, I hooked every shot. I got penalized a number of times for crap I didn't do or was misunderstood. And I'm frankly, absolutely, and fully exhausted by it all. My wife also is autistic. And my wife recently got a tattoo that said, what is... I forget how it goes. What is natural for the spider is chaos to the fly. And man, I almost want to get that tattoo for myself because it kind of illustrates a really interesting point. To somebody that doesn't have autism, somebody with autism running their own life and trying to put it on a course that works for them may look like chaos. Because neurotypicals and neurodivergent people are nothing alike. And it really hurts you when your diagnosis is dismissed. I don't think my parents are necessarily rejecting it. I don't think they fully understand it, you know. And I can't announce what we're planning, but I can say that I'm going to be outdoors a lot more, and I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. That's pretty much all I can say at the moment. But I'm excited for this step in my life. I would really like it if people would say, hey, I want to support you in this. I'd like to donate money to this. I'd like to help you on this journey because I think it's going to be healthy for you. My therapist thinks it's going to be healthy for me. My pastor, Tom, thinks it's going to be healthy for me. There's a number of people that think it's going to be healthy for me. But there's some people saying that you're bucking conventional society, you're going to lose. No, I'm not. I'm making the rules now. I'm in charge. This is my ship. I'm captaining it. I'm going to captain it the way that I see fit. Captaining is not a word. Wow. And there are some other factors. My communication skills are fantastic, but since my panic attack, I've developed a slight stutter, and I have trouble reaching for words. And it's frustrating because I used to be able to communicate a lot better than I am now. And it affects how I interact on a professional level. And honestly, 30 years of retail is too much. You know, consumers are arrogant, selfish, mean-spirited, full of themselves. You know what? Just go read 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. That's a consumer, the average consumer. Even if they start out nice, they can turn on you like that, and then it's too much. With my anxiety level and my stress, I'm just not willing to do that anymore. I'm taking control. I'm taking my wife's life back for her. She's been struggling at a job that doesn't appreciate her, finds more reasons to chastise her. It's bigoted, it's unkind. I have nothing good to say about any of her coworkers. There are good people at that company, just not in her department. And I'm rescuing her from that. We've done enough. We've taken enough of the world's abuse. It's over from here on out. So I want you to know, just watch this channel. Keep an eye on it, because over the next few weeks, we could be, and hopefully are, announcing some pretty big news that is going to be a huge game changer. That's all I have to say about that. So let's check out and see how the egg casserole is doing, shall we? We're just checking to see. I think it needs a little bit more time. Yeah, I think it needs a little more time. So we're going to put it back in. Can I try a bite? Alright, let's see what we got here. Look at that. Nice. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my word, is that good. The smoke is subtle. It's subtle, but it's delicious. Wow. I'm jealous. You got a good meal. You can taste the leeks and the peppers and the sausage, and they're all there, but they're even. It's really good. That was seriously delicious. That was really, really good. I'm glad that dish came out so well, and I'm glad I was able to share all that information with you. Anyway, click like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We'll catch you later, guys.